struggling to move your nonprofit forward? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Nonprofit Architect, where we are giving you the actionable steps you need to launch and grow your nonprofit organization. Now, here's your host, Travis Johnson.
This is Travis Johnson, the host of the Nonprofit Architect, helping you build a stronger nonprofit. I'm here with Denny Katona, the mastermind behind the OP veteran. Denny, how are you doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm so excited to connect with you and get you on the show and hear what you're all about. Kind of disappointed you didn't braid your beard like we talked about beforehand. But it was short notice. What can you do?
Well, see what had happened was, I'm about to give you a line of crap, but last time I got a haircut, my guy trims my beard up. Dude, homeboy took 3 inches off my beard. I'm like, what did you just do? And I don't fault him. He's a Navy vet. He's an all right guy. So, but so it's not quite as full as I'd like it to be right now. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw you, that beard was quite intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably knock some out if you turned quick enough.
Possibly. It keeps me warm. So.
Perfect. So you run the OP veteran. Tell us what that's about. 90 seconds, 2 minutes, all about you and your organization. What do you do?
We're focused on easing veteran emotional transition. The military transition process is generally focused around getting a job, writing a resume. Don't wear your low quarters to a job interview, and that's great. That's valuable information, but we don't address the fact that when we're serving, we have a mission, we have a purpose, we're part of something larger than ourselves. We get out of that military, we lose that, and we even further, we lose a sense of who we are now, right? Because we're not that guy anymore, we're not that gal anymore. That sense of thwarted belonging and not understanding or knowing where our place in the world is now, that can kind of start that downward spiral, right? So what we try to do is ease that transition by getting veterans involved within the community, either with us or another nonprofit. It's more important for veterans to find their niche of what they're interested in, so finding their post-military passion and pursuing that in order to realize, hey, the best years of my life are not behind me, they're ahead of me, right? And that helps overcome that sense of thwarted belonging when, one of the two major factors leading to suicide. So we do that by hosting a number of different events throughout the year. We do 2 large events. One is essentially just a fundraising and awareness campaign and event for a worthy direct service veteran nonprofit. Our only output is we're getting veterans involved in volunteering and facilitating to them the ability to have a good feeling about making an positive impact upon the veteran community. And then our fall Vet Fest event is where we bring together as much of the veteran nonprofit community as we can to educate veterans about what services are out there, because there's so many out there, we just don't know about them. So educate them about what services are out there. 2, educate them about what volunteer opportunities are out there, because that lends itself to our mission. Then we also bring out veteran-owned businesses because, one, they have these business owners have a lot of valuable lessons learned. It's kind of what we're doing with this podcast. They have a lot of valuable lessons learned that they can share with would-be veteran entrepreneurs, right? They understand the pain points. They understand the steps it takes to be successful, right? And those are things that most are willing to definitely share with other would-be entrepreneurs. And then if we promote these businesses and help build them up, they're more likely to hire veterans, and then they're more likely to give back to the veteran community. So it just helps improve the veteran community at large by promoting and assisting each other. And then we bring out veteran musicians and help promote them, because that's their passion. That's what drives them, right? So showing successful examples of folks pursuing their passion serves as a example to those that are in attendance. And it's a fun outdoor festival. It's not your typical resource fair where people are inside of a hotel ballroom or convention center, and it's table to table to table, and it's kind of or whatever. it's fun, right? I mean, people walk around in silkies and everything like that. And this year, Irreverent Warriors is actually holding their Silkies hike in conjunction with Vet Fest. So they're going to start at the Vet Fest location, do their hike, and then come back and finish off. So again, it's about working together and collaborating. So it's a great event. Definitely looking forward to this year. And then on top of those events, we just hold different what we call engagement events throughout the year. By it just helps get veterans out and connecting with each other, and again, overcoming that sense of sort of belonging that we all face.
I like that. I like that you said post-military passion.
Yes.
You see disengaged and disillusioned vets essentially wandering the streets, not knowing where to put their passion towards. Yeah. And it's always better if we have something that we can be a part of. That's the reason we join so many different organizations and we go to different events. And it doesn't matter if you're a veteran or not. People want to be part of something.
Exactly.
To help connect them with different organizations where they can be a part of something that they care about, be a part of something that they really have a passion for. That's awesome. What does it take to put these rather large events together for our nonprofits out there that want to start holding events and doing different things and getting community engagement? What does that process look like? How long should they take to plan out some kind of large event?
I think if you've not done it before, scaling is important. I mean, when I did the first Vet Fest, I didn't have an organization behind me. I was just kind of doing it. And that was one of the questions I got asked was, well, this sounds like a great idea. Who are you with? Well, I'm just a dude, right? But scaling it, don't feel you have to, hold, Ozfest or Lollapalooza or whatever the first time. Scale it. Right. The first year we did it, we targeted like 25 vendors. That was our goal. And our budget was roughly $6,000. And the majority of that went to the stuff we were giving away. We gave every veteran in attendance a free swag bag, canvas bag with a t-shirt, koozie decals, all that stuff. I mean, and for the amount of veterans that we bought for, I mean, we prep for 300 and we gave all that away. That's a significant cost, but start small and then build up. When we were talking earlier, I talked about how I'm a project manager in my full-time career. That type of mentality and planning and work breakdown structure and planning ahead, defining the scope of the event. What do you want your end state to look like? What are you trying to accomplish with this event? And then backwards plan from there, right? And determine, okay, well, what type of venue am I having? Is this a public venue or a private venue? Okay, if so, am I going to need permits? Am I going to need event insurance? Am I going to need security if I'm serving alcohol?
Porta potties.
Logistical life support. All that stuff, right? Yeah. It's just break down each portion of the event. Walk yourself through the event mentally. Break down. Okay, if I went to a festival, what do I see around me? I see porta potties. I see security. I see vendors. I see, whatever the case may be.
You see food, you see candy, you see snacks, you see people with swag that they're selling. You see booths where they have different engagement that they can do. You see the fast pitch. I'm getting into the fair stuff, but you get fast pitch and you get the gamut.
But having a plan, right? That's the most important thing. Having a plan, developing what you need as far as life support, what you need as far as, okay.
What do you mean life support?
Trash, fencing, porta potties, hand wash stations, all those types of life support needs that you'll need in order to be compliant with, the city, county, or whatever. How am I enticing folks to come out, right? What's in it for them?
Everyone's favorite radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we give away swag bags and all that type of thing. We're having free musical entertainment from, some pretty big names in the veteran music industry. That's what you do to entice folks to come out and enjoy what you want your end state to be. With VetFest, we want to connect veterans with services and volunteer opportunities and promote veteran-owned businesses. That is what we want to do, right? That is our end state. Well, how do we achieve that? So we got to entice people, right? We got to make it fun. We got to make it, perhaps a little bit less formal. Like I said, we have folks come out in silkies and all that type of thing. And, when we have the national anthem playing, it's not someone singing the national anthem. It's generally someone playing the national anthem on an electric guitar, Jimi Hendrix style. Yes, sometimes in that transition process, we get stuck in that, that this is who we were mentality, or this, I'm stuck in who I was mentality. But guess what? We are sick of the pomp and circumstance associated with that past life. So we don't want it to be all formal and, we want it to be fun, right? That's why veterans grow out their beards. That's why veterans wear silkies and, do all that, goofy stuff, right? It's because we're sick of all that stuff. So we want to have a good time, have fun, but have fun with a purpose, right? And that's kind of where we come in. And it's all about planning. It's project management. If we're talking about mentoring veteran nonprofits, if you work in an operations cell, if you've written an op order, you can project plan, right? It's a matter of just, literally, that's how I did the first Vet Fest. Was I literally wrote a 5-paragraph op order, and that's how we executed the plan.
I've not heard something so military in quite a while. Wrote your own op order, and you take the skills, especially if you're a veteran, and you merge those skills with what you're trying to accomplish in the civilian world. I'm sure you hit up local newspapers, local radio stations, try to get the word out, and use people's connections. You call people's buddies that have some kind of shop, some kind of organization, some kind of whatever the thing is. I'm sure you talked to the VA and figured out what services they partner with to help get those people in.
Yeah, I mean, when I did the first Vet Fest, I literally Googled veteran nonprofit, Austin, Texas, and I just started picking up the phone and started emailing. By and large, the response of, hey, do you want to come out to this event, was very positive. I told you, our target was 25 nonprofit organizations. We had over, I think, 47 vendors that first year.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
I mean, and that's nonprofits, that's veteran-owned businesses, and the second year we were up to 109. The following, then last year we were over 130. So it just continues to grow, and we continue to scale it as far as how we execute it. Right. So, I mentioned veteran musicians. A lot of veteran musicians are more than willing, more often than not, to play your event for free because it's helping veterans. It's for veterans. That's something they care about. First year, second year, hey, yeah, can you play for free? That's fine. Well, actually, first year we didn't have music, but other events that we did. But this year, I was very adamant that, hey, yes, we want you to play Vet Fest. We may not be able to pay your full booking fee because, hey, we're a nonprofit. We don't have all that much money with 3 years in the books, but we want to pay you. We at the very least want to pay you for your inconvenience for coming out and playing this event instead of playing some other gig, right? So we were adamant about paying our musicians this year, and paying our stage guy and sound guy and everything like that. So that's important to us, right? Because again, by supporting those musicians, it helps to, again, better serve the veteran community, because if we have them out there and we're able to pay them and support them, that means they're going to be able to maybe help that brand new nonprofit that doesn't have the track record in order to get sponsorships to be able to pay those musicians. So again, it helps grow them. And then in a couple of years, that smaller nonprofit would have grown, and hell, they might be a Vet Fest sponsor, right? We've literally seen that. It's about, I use the terminology intersecting fields of fire, right? Instead of just looking straight ahead in the narrow path of your own mission scope, look to your 11 o'clock and your 2 o'clock and encourage other organizations within the community to do the same. And then when we have these intersecting fields of fire, we're less likely to have veterans fall through the cracks, right? It's all about interorganizational collaboration. And that's one of the happy byproducts of Vet Fest, right?
That's one of our things is collaboration over competition.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some organizations out there, they want to carve their own little kingdom. That's great. Hey, do your thing. If someone isn't necessarily gelling with your flavor and they start going off to the side, if you're not talking to anybody, if you're all about, this is my kingdom, these are my vets. I hate that statement. These are my vets. No, they're not. They're going to fall through the cracks. And when they fall through the cracks, that's when bad things going to happen. So it's about helping each other, help the veteran community, period. So
absolutely. And I know Austin has a really big food scene, a really big music scene, and they also have the Chive headquarters down there in Austin. Have you reached out to those guys? Are those guys going to come out with you and hang out?
I mean, we've been down to the Chive. I haven't heard anything back with them this year, but honestly, this year it's been kind of hectic with reaching out. Right? I mean, the first year I didn't have an organization to run. I didn't have the shitty part of running a nonprofit. Right? The fun part is the passion. Right. The shitty part is the shitty part is the business side of it. That's not the fun part, or at least for me. Right. Some people love business. I understand business that I'm not a huge fan of. I'm the passion guy. I'm the soapbox guy. But so, I mean, I was, calling every single person that I could find. Now, and as we've grown the events, we definitely rely more on our network, not just, hey, this is OP veteran posting about this. No, we rely on word of mouth of different organizations and businesses that have been to Vet Fest and have been able to engage with veterans out there to pass on the word to organizations that they know, right? And that's how it's grown. I mean, it's not me calling and getting 130 people out there. Or 130 vendors out there. It's about, what my team does to reach out to people. It's what I do to reach out to people. And it's what everybody that believes in this concept of Vet Fest do to reach out to people. It's a whole community coming together. It's just us facilitating that.
So you mean that you're not trying to do everything by yourself? Actually using a team? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's negotiable. It's one of those things. I mean, and it's that alpha male mentality that it's great in the military and it's great when you're straight up business. And when you're a control freak, it is hard to let go. And I'll be flat out blunt. That's one of my major obstacles is giving up control, depending on someone else to do it exactly how I want it.
Oh, that's tough, right? That's real tough.
Our social media manager, she is phenomenal, right? She's the sister of a veteran, actually a deceased veteran. And so, but she does an amazing job with our social media. We've actually been lucky to where we've had a lot of good team members involved with the social media, because last year we had a span where we were between folks handling social media. So I was trying to do that too. Around Vet Fest, our social media sucked, right? Because I mean, trying to get everything scheduled, and because we try to promote every single vendor with a highlight post and everything like that, getting all that type of thing out, getting our normal posts out, it was impossible for me. I barely kept up, but Kimberly has done a phenomenal job building our social media network. We actually hit 5,000 likes today. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So it's a journey. It's not about where you are and where you want to be. It's about the journey in between, meeting and intermingling with folks. But like you said, teamwork and delegation is crucial, right? We talked offline, was that last week? I went and thought, hey, you have a life-threatening birth defect that needs to be corrected, as soon as possible. Well, can it wait till after November 2nd? And then, the scheduler calls me, oh, we can get you in September 6th. Well, how long am I going to be down? Well, 6 to 8 weeks. I guess I'm delegating now. You know what I mean? Because I'm literally going to be laid up in the hospital for a few weeks, and then not really in the shape to handle a bunch of extra tasks after that. I mean, literally VetFest this year, I'm going to have someone drive me around like a Miss Daisy so I can kiss hands and shake babies. And that's pretty much my role at VetFest this year.
Shaking babies is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's important, when we grow up and we're in sports and different activities, most of us are in some kind of team sport. Mm-hmm. And your star running back, who may be phenomenal, is only as good as offensive line and as blocking.
Yeah.
You have to be able to trust people to do the jobs that they're assigned to do, that you're all on the same mission, the same vision, and you're moving forward together as a team. Yeah. And when someone drops the ball, someone else has got to pick it up and get going with it. And I think that's so important. So many of the organizations I work with seem to be just lone warriors trying to get whatever the mission is done. And really, that's one of the main focuses and main reasons I started this podcast, was to teach people how to leverage things like social media and actually schedule out posts so they're not sitting there trying to come up with 3 things a day for the whole week. And you sit down on a Saturday and schedule all these out. And if you're good enough, you can do it for 2 weeks, and you just hit go, and those posts go all on their own, and they go out to the world as scheduled.
It is easy to come up with content for social media.
Mm-hmm.
You have a myriad of significant dates in military history. The service branch birthdays, significant battles, when this war began, when this war ended, everything like that. Every Friday's Red Friday. It's about constantly pushing things out there in order to appear on folks' feed, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're pushing out your events or your donation drives, you're in folks' feed. Oh yeah, hey, I remember that. They share this type of thing. Have original content too. That's important. It can't just be the same bland stuff that everybody does. I mean, so we try to push the. When I was in the Army, I was a master resiliency trainer. So I really try to push that in regards to the value of just being positive. Trying to overcome our own negativity bias can do tremendous things for your own mental health. So we really try to push that message, as well as the standard. Hey, today, was the Battle of Long in 1974 or whatever. It's about, yes, staying on folks' feed, but it's also about providing valuable content as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be a balance.
When did you start this nonprofit? What year?
2016. So
just so people are tracking, 3 years in order to build a following of 5,000 people on Facebook, right? It's not hey, next week, after I add all my friends, I'm going to have 5,000 people liking, loving, sharing my content, providing engagement. It is a slow trickle. It is a building process. And sometimes people get lucky and they hit some kind of viral video or viral content. But most of the time, it's
hard work. It is really hard work. Yeah. I mean, when I started doing like the first spring kickoff and the first Vet Fest, prior to me doing those, I didn't want to start a nonprofit. I didn't, right? It's the last thing I wanted to do. But like I said, when I was calling all these folks for coming to the first Vet Fest, well, this sounds great. Who are you with? Well, I'm just a dude doing this, right? And the overwhelming response that we got, not only from those that were in attendance, but also from the vendors and the organizations and the businesses that, hey, we want to do this again this year. This can grow and grow and grow and grow. Well, okay, I can't just be some dude doing this next year. We got to be a little bit more formalized.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I'm a control freak, so I didn't necessarily find another organization, because I mean, I had been involved with the VFW, but their mission is more legislative and political lobby, which is invaluable. But my interest has always been on more of a grassroots focus. Those two mentalities didn't necessarily gel. I wanted an organization that was focused on my vision, right? The vision of being involved, being engaged, by giving back to organizations that help us, that serves to continue to help us by giving a sense of mission and sense of purpose again, and it's grown from there. But so after the first Vet Fest is when I actually formed OP Veteran. So it's grown. It's had, it goes in waves as far as following, event attendance and everything like that. It's, we're learning. We're still learning what works. If you're not continually learning about what works and what doesn't, you're going to become stagnant, right? You have to continually change things up. So
I like that you were giving. Your mission was giving and doing an event just as a guy before you just said nonprofit. I talk to so many people that say, I want to start a nonprofit. And I'm like, I don't know that that's true. And they look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what do you mean that's not true? I was like, you want to help someone, some group of people do whatever. And you currently think the best way to do that is the nonprofit, which may or may not be true. And they're like, okay, I can go along that line of reasoning. Mm-hmm. And the reason I mentioned something like that and don't just, I'm not trying to crush their dreams, but maybe there is a quicker solution to helping a group of people other than just starting a nonprofit from scratch. You've been running one for the last 3 years, that it is a thing. It is a big, massive thing, and it is hard. Yeah. It is not clean. It is not easy. And that's okay. No. It's not those things, but it takes some real grit and determination to get through those highs and lows.
I often get approached. Hey, what advice can you give me about starting a nonprofit? Don't. Right? I literally say that. Don't. If you can find an organization that you can gel with and become a part of and utilize to pursue your individual passion and mission and vision, do it. Because seriously, like I was saying, the business part of it, I can't stand. I mean, we have, like I said, we're like any organization, startup organization or business. We have, board member turnover and everything like that. And, some of them still talk to me, some of them don't. Right. I'll be serious as a heart attack. The dude that was literally my best friend that I started OP Veteran with, we had a disagreement over OP Veteran. Dude dropped me like a bad headache, and I have not talked to him since. And it's a shame, right? But he had a bit, we started it, instead of being right like this, we were kind of like that. And the further we went, he had a vision, I had a vision, and one point we just didn't see eye to eye. So he ended up resigning, and bye. You got to realize you're going to make decisions that are not going to be popular. And in regards to, yes, you have board votes and everything like that, but there's sometimes you make a leadership call, right? And it's not always going to be popular. And you're running a nonprofit that's composed of friends. It can be one of the best things, and it can be one of the hardest things, right? So finding that balance between business is business and friendship is friendship, level setting those expectations is crucial in order to maintain both, right?
Right.
And it can be a trial, and that's why I said, if you can find something besides starting up your own nonprofit, do it. The business side of this is hard. The average lifespan of a nonprofit is 3 to 5 years, right? We're just approaching 3 years, right? To where we can, start being really competitive for grants. Because our mission, as great as it is and everything like that, tracking the metrics for what we do is difficult, right? Well, we help ease emotional transition. Well, how do you do that? We bring veterans together. Okay. So how many people came out, right? We can gauge how many people that came to Vet Fest because we have registrations and things like that, and how many people volunteered to kick off and all that type of thing. But the other stuff we do throughout the year, that's a little kind of harder to track, right? So
right.
Getting the valuable metrics that are crucial for, say, grant writing, it's a little bit harder, right? So we're approaching that, and we're going to have to be creative, be smart, rely on some mentors in order how to best pursue grants. Because again, and one of the other drawbacks when you're running a nonprofit, you are constantly fundraising.
Always be asking. It's tough. but you're always asking, but it's not Denny asking, right? It is Denny asking on behalf of OP Veteran and the mission that you're trying to accomplish.
You sell yourself, sell the mission. They have to go hand in hand. But I guess one of my biggest gripes is, again, I'm the soapbox guy, right? I'm the guy that, let's do this and this and this. It's going to take, I'm the planner, right? I'm not. I mean, I have been, but my passion doesn't lie in raising funds. That's the business side of it that I have to do that we all have to do in order to do the things that we do. It's not the fun part. It's not the glamorous part. It's not the fulfilling part. You don't get necessarily the emotional fulfillment of, hey, I found my niche, right? Or niche, or however you pronounce it, by soliciting businesses. Hey, can you throw us a sponsorship out? Blah, blah, blah. Our fulfillment comes from that veteran that connected with counseling services that they didn't know about, or was able to connect with a group that would take him hunting, and hey, hasn't been hunting since he was a kid.
Do you have Facebook posts to that effect? Like, hey, we just connected a Marine Corps veteran with this nonprofit today, and because of your donations, that helps us engaged with all these people.
When we do posts like that, I like to keep them anonymous. One of the big stories that we shared this year was in March. We had a crawfish boil. The event itself was a wash, right? The primary sponsor donated, $1,100 or so. Spent a little bit over that on the crawfish and the plates and all that type of stuff. We made our money back from what was spent, maybe with like $100 over that. So from a fundraising perspective, it was a wash. But we had a veteran come with his spouse, and I'm standing there, doing my thing, talking to folks and everything like that. And my one of my guys that was running the actual boil comes with, hey, we're out of propane, or we're running low on propane, and we need somebody to run to the store and get it. And I was in the middle of a conversation. I was like, okay, make it happen, And so, this guy that I was talking to, he's like, I'll run. I'll go. I'll make the run. I'm like, okay, well, let's get you some cash out of the cash box and go get some propane. No big deal. He went and got propane. So then, like a week later, he messaged me on Facebook because we connected and stuff. He's like, hey, can I give you a call? I'm like, yeah, man. And so I'm talking to him, and he said to me, he's like, hey, I just want to let you know that day at the crawfish bowl, that was going to be my day.
Oh, right? Man,
that was my last. That was going to be my last hurrah with my family. And
wow,
just being able to do something like go and refill propane tanks, as trivial and as menial of a task as that is, that gave me a sense of purpose of contributing to a larger mission. And that was literally the validation I needed, for like, I was in tears. And those stories are definitely invaluable. We definitely share these stories and testimonials of what we do when we get them. So, and that's what I was talking about earlier about original content. How are you trying to make an impact? It's not just the generic posts, providing the stories of how you make an impact. That's what sells your organization, right? That's what gets you buy-in from your audience.
That's right. That's the perfect 90-second Facebook Live. Hey, this is Denny Katona, founder of OP Veteran. We connect people, we connect veterans with resources and organizations to help them build. Today, I just got off the phone. I got connected an Air Force veteran with this service. So proud that we get to be able to do our mission today. So wonderful. We get to connect with one of our partners. This is why we do what we do. Then it's engagement, right? If you want to help, if you want to do this, we have an event coming up. Sign up on the link below. Yeah. And that was 20 seconds. And it's a quick, this is who we are, what we did. This is where your money goes. This allows this connection to happen. And you have an engagement call to action. And It's real quick. It's real organic. And it allows your news feed, right? People to see your page. That kind of stuff is amazing. And it doesn't take a lot of planning. And it doesn't take 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It doesn't take a reshoot after a reshoot. It's real quick and easy, down and dirty, and gets your people engaged. And that's what social media is for, is engagement.
That's the trick. I mean, and I think one of the trials that, nonprofits, especially younger nonprofits, is finding that way to really connect with an audience, whether it be via social media or out in the community, right? You can get folks to come out for your yearly fundraiser and things like that. But for your smaller, hey, just come out and see us event, right? Come talk to us event. That's a harder thing unless you're able to connect with your audience on a more than just executive director to your audience level. You got to really get on that personal level of, hey, I care about you, right? Travis, I care about you. I want you to, be happy. I want you to succeed. Yes, Poonam. You got to connect. That's one of the, we talked about, the trials of running a nonprofit. I mean, yes, the business side is definitely, I mean, that's the unfun part, right? In order, a nonprofit is a business, nonprofit corporation or LLC, whatever, it's a business. You got to run it like a business. But if it's only facts, figures, metrics, you're not going to be authentic. You got to have that story. You got to have that passion. And I mean, we've been successful because, I mean, a lot of the folks that have been associated with this organization have been on that edge, and we've been able to overcome that, and we're overcoming our obstacles. So that resonates within folks. And then, and I'm definitely thankful for that, because, that helps us help them, right? Because our stories and our challenges and how we overcome them may either directly give them, hey, this is how I can do it, or, hey, this guy or this gal, they were going through some of the same crap that I was or I am, and they overcame it. So maybe I'll reach out. Maybe I'll, just that glimmer of hope is what's needed. You got to have that passion too.
Absolutely. So you're about 3 years in. Follow me down the vision trail. What does OP Veteran look like in 3 years? What do you want your vision to look like?
3 years. I think it's conceivable that we have full-time staff. I think it's conceivable that we are well on our way to building a facility that serves as a hub and haven for the veteran community, for nonprofits, for veteran-owned businesses, and for veterans, their family members, as well as Patriot supporters. I mean, it's one of the big things I dwell on. The veteran community is not just veterans, because if we were left to our own devices, us by ourselves, some of us are good, some of us are not so good, but even those of us that are good, we had some push along the way from probably someone that wasn't a veteran, right?
Right.
Our wife, or our son, or whomever, they inspired us to be better or to do better, right? So the veteran community is veterans, it's family members, and as well as Patriot supporters, right? If I only took sponsorships from veteran-owned businesses, I had wouldn't be doing Vet Fest on the scale that we're doing, right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
So, we need to realize transition means integrating with the larger community, not just the veteran community, but the community at large. Mm-hmm. So it's important to integrate with civilians. We are civilians now, but integrate with those that necessarily hadn't served. It's important to include all three in that. So, but that hub and haven, I see as a, it's a place, yes, for veterans to congregate and have a good time, whether it be doing, having drinks or having coffee, right? But it's also a place to where, hey, during the daytime and even early evening, I can connect with veteran resources, mm-hmm. right? That are there on a rotational basis. I can go and, check out this veteran's shop, or, this person's this veteran's t-shirt shop, or this veteran's blacksmith shop, or this veteran's woodworking shop. and see what they're doing, see what they're all about, as well as a place that's large enough for us to hold Vet Fest on our own property. So, hey, guess what? We don't have to go through permitting. I envision it as what some of the older VSOs could be if they had more of a grassroots level mission rather than a legislative mission, right? Is that grassroots connecting to veterans? I never want to downplay their importance or bash them. It's just there's generational gaps, and that's, so honestly, social media is a part of that. When my dad came back from Korea, he was a Korean War vet. He didn't interact with people he served with on a daily basis. He, hear or see, someone that he served with or someone he knew commit suicide. He didn't engage and talk about his issues, right? More often than not, that generation self-medicated.
You didn't talk about anything.
No, you self-medicated. You went to the local bar or veteran organization, and it was all about self-medication. You didn't have to talk about your problem because they were right there with you. They understood, right? Well, that's great. Yeah, that provides a comfort level, but that doesn't necessarily provide healing, right? And forging past that trauma and finding life after that trauma. So that's my hope, right? Is providing a hub and haven for veterans organizations as well as veteran-owned businesses. And if veteran nonprofits can come in and hold their events there, right? And have a formal event where they went to the Radisson, they'd be charged, $15,000 for the venue. Well, come to our place and, as a nonprofit, pay to keep the lights on for the night. And then when a veteran organization isn't holding events there, yeah, we're probably charging $15,000 for someone to come hold a wedding there, right? Maybe not that much, but you get my point.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Support, be a viable organization and business and venue that can provide space for service organizations and businesses, and just really provide that home away from home for the veteran community.
So we're going to wrap it up, and I got one last question for you. What can me, my team, my listeners, what can we do for you? What do you need help with?
So, I think you gave 3 options earlier. What was it? Donations, network, and what was the third one?
Well, everyone needs the same thing. So everyone needs more supporters, everyone needs more volunteers, and everyone needs more money. Thanks so much, Denny. Glad to have you on the show today.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it.
You've been listening to The Nonprofit Architect. To listen to all our past shows, visit http://nonprofitarchitect.org. And be sure to subscribe, rate, and review our show. Thank you.